everyone, my name is Satya Rakafati. I am from the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education of Universitas Sriwijaya, and my study program is obviously English education. In this video, I am going to explain 10 chapters from the basic English grammar book written by Schrampfer Azar. First, we have chapter Be and Have. In this chapter, it talks about to be. So, let's start. M is R. In singular, the example is Canada is a country. On plural form, cats are animals. Singular means one, plural means more than one. Singular pronoun uses is, while plural uses are. And it also talks about contractions. So, for examples, I'm, your, she's, and also have and possessive adjectives. Mine, yours, his. Next chapter is expressing present time. In this chapter, it talks about the usage of simple present. The structure is subject plus verb. For example, I sleep. It also talks about frequency adverbs. For example, usually, seldom, and sometimes, and even more. For example, I eat breakfast every morning. We sleep every night. In this chapter, it also talks about the usage of present progressive. Present progressive uses ing. The structure is subject plus am is are plus verb plus ing. For example, I am sleeping. It also talks about the difference between simple and progressive tenses. Simple tenses, for example, I sleep, it's a habit. Progressive, I'm sleeping, means now. Next chapter is nouns and pronouns. In this chapter, it talks about nouns and pronouns. Noun can mean two meanings, subject and object. If it's subject, it can be a sentence, while if it's an object, it can be verb and preposition. Nouns also has singular and plural forms. For example, if it's singular, one pen. If it's plural, two pens. In this chapter, it also talks about countable and uncountable. Countable meaning that it can be counted. For example, a book, one book, two book, three book. And uncountable meaning that it cannot be counted. For example, like some money. In this chapter, it also talks about indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns is a pronoun that refers to non-specific people. For example, something, someone, nothing, no one. Next chapter is about expressing past time. In this chapter, it talks about the usage of simple past. Singular and plural form for expressing past time is different. For singular, it uses was. For plural, it uses were. The word is also different when it comes to negative form, wasn't and weren't. For expressing past time, we can use ed ending. For example, walk became walked. The structure for past time is subject plus verb plus ed. For example, she walked. In this chapter, it also mentions past time words. For example, yesterday, last month, a year ago. This chapter also mentions irregular verbs. Come, the past form is came. Do, the past form is did. Eat, the past form is ate. For example, I closed the window. I walked to school yesterday. Next chapter is about expressing future time. In this chapter, it talks about future events. This chapter mentioned when expressing future time uses be going to and will. For example, I am going to go and I will go. This chapter mentioned future time words. For example, tomorrow, next month, in 5 minutes. For example, I am going to eat at a restaurant this night, and I will go to the store tomorrow morning. Next chapter is about expressing ability. This chapter talks about the usage of can and could. Can for present, for example, Yuko can speak English, and could for past. For example, when I was younger, I could run fast. This chapter also mentioned the use of be able to. For example, I am able to touch my toes. This chapter also mentioned polite questions such as may I, could I, and can I. For example, may I borrow your pen? Could I borrow your pen? And can I borrow your pen? Next chapter is about nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. This chapter dives deeper about nouns and pronouns and adjectives. This book said adjective word orders are opinion, size, age, color, nationality, then material. For example, a large red car. This chapter mentioned possessive pronouns such as mine, yours, his, hers. It also mentioned personal pronouns she, her, hers. The next chapter talks about making comparisons. Well, in this chapter it talks about making comparisons, nothing more. Comparison words example are same, as, similar to, and different from. For example, this and that are the same. This is the same as that. That is similar to this. This is different from that. Other comparison words are like and alike. For example, your pen is like my pen. Our pens are alike. Comparison words can also end in er. For example, old becomes older, big becomes bigger, cheap becomes cheaper. Next chapter is about expressing ideas with verbs. In this chapter, it talks about expressing ideas. The chapter mentions the usage of should. For example, I should go, he should go, they should go. It also mentioned the usage of let's. For example, let's go to the classroom. It also mentions the use of must. I must sleep, you must sleep. Should can be a suggestion, while must can be a necessity. That is all from my explanation. I explained it as simple as I could. That is all from me. I hope you learned something and I say thank you very much.